Nancy Guthrie. I'm going to try to go in chronological order, though how I've been receiving information from Spirit has not necessarily been chronological. I just kind of get zapped and things are out of order. So I'm going to try to put it in order here. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that people are correct that this person, or these people, plural, because it is people, plural, that planned this, are known to the family, okay? Not in any close sort of way, but they are familiar to the family. I see them being people who work around or on the property, have worked on Nancy's property before, as far as maybe landscaping, odds and ends type of work. Just keeping upkeep, general upkeep of the property. And then, they also worked, these people are also familiar to Annie and her husband, because they've worked with over there as well. The person that is shown on the door camera approaching, that the FBI has released, boy, oh boy, did that throw me, because he looked like, when I looked at the body, I was like, oh, masculine. But then the eyebrows and the eyes and the mouth looked so feminine, and I was thrown for a minute. But that person is not that person only did that one job. And then it was like he handed it over to like another set of people, or a person, or like I'm seeing two people in a white or ivory, like cream colored van or SUV. But it definitely has like a back with like, either it's, if it's a van, obviously it's going to be that there are no seats. It's just like empty inside in the back, and that's where they put her. Or if it is an SUV, the seats are down. What happened was the guy broke in. Okay. Also, he's left-handed, so that should slim it down a little bit. He has very distinguished features. But under the mask, he also has something like a birthmark or something like that. So he broke in, and what I'm seeing is that Nancy herself, like, she kind of didn't feel all that well before leaving her being with Annie and Tommaso, I think is his name. That's Annie's husband. He was the one to drop her off, if I'm not mistaken. So she kind of had an uneasy feeling. But she thought she just felt a little unwell. But then, kind of like something in her gut. Like, when you get that, it's sort of like this sixth sense. You don't know what's coming, but something might be coming. But, those things come and go often. And sometimes it's very difficult for you to gauge if it's something you need to prepare for or not, So sometimes we just poo-poo it and brush it off. So that's what I see with her. She went home. She may have had a little bit of a headache or something like that. I'm not sure. But I see her going to bed. And there are like animal sounds in the area. Like, I think there's coyotes. I don't know what the animals are out there in that part of the world. I've never really been out there. So I don't really know. But she heard something, but she woke up before she heard it. It was weird. Her body just kind of like naturally woke her up, and she went to the bathroom. And that's where I'm seeing something happening. She was hit in the face, like backhanded. I'm seeing her like hit in the mouth or the nose. And that's what those blood droplets are. Okay. I obviously we know that they were outside on the front door porch area, but obviously we don't know if they were inside as well, but I assume that they probably were. She wasn't, look, it's still an injury and it's terrible. She's an 84-year-old woman who can barely walk on her own. You know, she needs like a cane, a walker. She has other health conditions. So this is not good, right? But it's not something that I see her, like, I don't see it as being so severe that it caused greater injury to her body. What I see is her being told, if you fight, you're going to get hurt. So just do what I say and you won't get hurt. Like that kind of instruction. The guy took her, hit her, right? She struggled at first. He said what he said, and then she relented. And she said, she's saying to herself, it's better if I just follow what it is that they want me to do. But I have this very unsettling feeling. She has this unsettling feeling that she knows that she's not going to make it through this. Okay. So I'm sort of feeling like she is gaining, she's being led. She's being led to this van, which is, like I said, van, SUV, light color, okay, like cream, or white, you know. And they put her in the back. She is, by the way, she is blindfolded, gagged. And I want to say they did something eventually to her hands, but she is showing that she was in the van traveling for a while. So I want to say that this is south. They went south of Tucson, but still in Tucson. And she's letting me know it was probably about an hour and a half away. Like, that's what it felt like to her, like how long she had been there. Okay, I'm seeing her taken underground, like to a underground bunker, a cellar, a basement. Okay, but she was underground. They had never planned to kill her. Okay, they never planned to do that, and they didn't. Okay, but Nancy Guthrie, at some point within 20 hours of her being taken, went to sleep, and she died in her sleep. She didn't, her heart couldn't take it. Like, there were a lot of things that were breaking down in her body because of this situation. She died in her sleep. They didn't expect that. They buried her somewhere in an open, deserty area. Nothing around, desolate, okay? She is buried. They are going to find where she's buried. I feel like one of the people that's involved in this whole thing is going to confess something and confess where she is. Because they're going to get somebody. They're going to question somebody, and that somebody has those answers. And probably will give up the rest of the group. Now, I see 3 men. Like I said, these are familiar faces to the family, to at least Annie, Tommaso, and Nancy. So it was planned, and it had been planned for a while, but it was poorly executed. So the guy that took her, like I said, he was only used for that one part, and that's it. And then it was the next people. They took her underground, like I said. They took her somewhere that's beneath the earth. She hit her head, or she bumped her arm, or something like that. it's not like they mishandled her. They didn't consider that she can't really walk that well. So there was some kind of, she didn't fall or anything. They caught her, but they were moving too quickly for her, and she can't see as it is, and she can't, it was discombobulated for her. It was a mess. And so where they put her, she eventually went to sleep, and then she died. So that's where I see her being kept until she passed away in her sleep within the first 20 hours. And then they decide to bury her. But like I said, there are other players in this that maybe aren't on camera and haven't been filmed. However, they have some kind of tips. They have some things that are connecting the dots for them. The glove situation is also part of this now. Like there's a glove or a pair, like two gloves. I don't know. But there's something that they're getting to. It's like they need more evidence, but they've been surveilling one or two people in particular, and they're all very close. They're very close. They're going to find her. Okay. Unfortunately, she has passed. She is not stuck. She has crossed over. She is with her husband. She is with Jesus. And she shows me that this was a soul contract. What she doesn't reveal is what she needed to specifically learn. And I think that that's purposeful because she hasn't really gone through all of her life review yet. At least that's how it feels to me. She's going to do that once she's found, and then they have a ceremony for her and a burial and all of that. Okay. When she is laid to rest. A lot of souls do that, by the way. They wait until their funeral. They experience their own funeral, and then they kind of have their goodbyes at that point, and then they leave. Well, they don't really leave. It's not like that, but their soul goes into its original form, and we all do. So she will have her life review soon. They're going to find her. I keep getting 7 to 10 days. I really feel like something's going to be ramping up in 7 to 10 days. I feel like she's south. She's like 1.5, 2 hours south. I don't know where that brings you on a map because I'm not familiar with Arizona. So this has been what I've been picking up since she went missing. I believe it's now 12 days or 11 days, something like that ago. And I am sending you guys all the best. If you have any questions, if you want to leave any of your perceptions and what you've picked up, please do. And I will speak to you all soon.